Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And the New Jersey Devils last night returned back to the Rock, looking to build off of the thrilling overtime victory over the Tampa Bay Lightning and fall short in a playoff-like war by a score of 2-1 to the Florida Panthers. Lots to get to, lots to talk about. We'll get right into the game. Early on, it was very evident to me that this one was going to play like a playoff game. Now, coming into the game, I fully expected that. Your New Jersey Devils, earlier in the season, went into Florida and beat the Panthers back-to-back games in a rare scheduling, bizarre situation to play the same team twice in their own building. Devils go to Florida and beat them both times, and came home last night looking to complete the season series sweep over the Panthers. And a very difficult task to beat the defending Cup champions 3 times in a season. You know, it's hard to beat any team 3 times in a season, but to beat the defending Cup champs, and it proved to be slightly too tall of a task for your New Jersey Devils. But anyway, playoff war from the beginning. First period, Matthew Tkachuk absolutely crushes Kovacevic in the corner. A couple seconds later, Kovacevic responds, gets called for a penalty. And it is what it is. Early on, I was very intrigued by the game, and I was very into it. I obviously wanted the heaviest, edgiest, most violent version of this team possible. The Panthers play playoff hockey all year long. That is why they are such a good team. That is why they went to the Cup Finals 2 years ago and then finally won the Cup last season. They're battle-tested and ready for war, and they play that way every game. This one was no different. We saw Kovacevic getting into the mix early, and I love to see the response. Horrible to take the penalty, but like to see the physicality. Both teams playing tight early, and it just looked like a playoff game. Lots of hitting. First period, Devils only 6 shots on goal, and the Panthers only 5. Not a lot of chances. Was a little bit of a feeling out session for both teams. And we head to the second, tied at 0. It opens up a little bit more. Both teams exchange some chances. We see more hitting, and we are in one. This is a battle in January. Panthers looking to avoid the sweep. After the second period, I thought there was a very good interview with Jack Hughes via the headset talking to former New Jersey Devil PK Subban on the ESPN broadcast. And they were just talking about the season thus far. And Jack said something along the lines of, we got a really good goalie back there. And you could tell the confidence that he was saying that with. And I think a lot of you just need to sit back and realize, A, how much better this team is from last season, but B, what Jacob Markstrom has brought to this team. When you have your franchise player in Jack Hughes speaking that way about goaltending, completely different scenario than last season, and a main reason why I am a firm believer in this club. Just thought that was a very cool interview. I'll post the link if I can, if I find it. But very telling by Jack, and I think that sort of confidence in the goaltending goes throughout the entire locker room and the whole team. We lost so many games last year that could have been won, but the subpar goaltending, cost us many nights. And that's not the case anymore. Jacob Markstrom is giving the Devils a chance to win every single night, and Jack Hughes is feeling it, and I'm sure the rest of the guys are as well. We head to the third, tied at 0 and only 41 seconds in. Devils get caught in transition, and Verhaeghe makes an insane pass across the middle. He hits former New Jersey Devil Jesper Boqvist. He's in tight, and he gets one past Markey for his 10th of the season at 41 seconds, giving the Panthers a 1-0 lead. Now, call me crazy, but this season, former New Jersey Devils are just balling out against the Devils. The first one I remember, and I'm sure I'm missing some, so you feel free to write them in the comments, but just the ones offhand. In Calgary, the West Canada road trip, Devils and Flames in a 0-0 tie. Late in the third period, in Jacob Markstrom's return to Calgary, a big game trying to win it for Markey. And with about 4.5 minutes left or so, former Devils defenseman Kevin Ball shoots on net, deflected in front by former Devil Blake Coleman for the game-winning goal with about 4.5 minutes left. That was a painful one. And then obviously being shut out on home ice by Mackenzie Blackwood and the San Jose Sharks was yet another gem of a performance by a former Devil. And then not too long later, Scott Wedgwood comes in with the Avalanche and shuts the Devils out. Former Devils goalies, 2 shutouts on the rock ice. Then last week we saw Adam Larson score a goal in that Kraken game. Luckily the Devils won that one, but the first 3 instances were basically the difference between a win and a loss. Blake Coleman from Ball for a game-winning goal, and then 2 shutouts from former goalies. Former Devils guys are bringing it. Boqvist, no different tonight. He gets that goal for them. He had some amazing defensive plays, flying back on his back check to shut down Jesper Bratt on a really good chance. There was a couple other ones. He was playing with a mission tonight, and these former Devils are just killing us. And after that goal, I'm not going to lie, I was a little like, oh, no. Going into the third period, I thought it was going to be a 1-0 game. In my head, it was like whoever scores first is winning this game. Boqvist scored super early, so I was still a little optimistic with over 19 minutes left to play. The Devils could squeak one out. And only about a minute and a half later or so, at 2:27, Devils working down low. Nico takes it to the front of the net and shoots, takes a nice deflection off of a Panther and gets past Knight, tying the game at 1. Nico Hischier's 20th on the season from Timo Meier and Nate Bastian at 2:27, and we are tied at 1. Beautiful play by Nico. Love to see in that situation when he's behind the net, just get to the front and flip it and see what happens. We've had unlucky bounces against us all season. It feels like anyway, and it was nice to finally see one of these fluky ones go in the Devils' favor. Nico gets his 20th. The game's all tied, and the rest of the third was pretty nerve-wracking. Some good chances back and forth. Again, lots of physicality, and a couple minutes or so after Nico gets the game-tying goal, we see a little bit of a fracas. Matthew Tkachuk absolutely drills Nico, and his fellow countryman, Jonas Siegenthaler, will not have it. In a rare display for Siegenthaler, his heavier, edgier, more violent side came out. He snapped. The screws went loose, and he immediately charges after Tkachuk and starts throwing punches. Nico's in there. His gloves are off. He's trying to punch him. A whole melee ensues. Everyone wrestling in the arm locks and the headlocks. I wish we saw a larger response there, in my opinion, given the history with Matthew Tkachuk and Nico Hischier going back a couple seasons. It's well documented. You can go find the videos of that stuff as well. But, the hit, to me, very borderline, whether it should be a penalty or not. I am a throwback fan. I am a proponent of the physicality in hockey. We don't see it often enough, and I think it was penalty worthy, but I don't know that it was as insane of a hit as the Devils reacted. But that's the type of reaction I want, whether it's clean or not, regardless, in my opinion. I want to see the boys stick up for each other. We saw it. Siegenthaler went nuts. Nico himself got in there. The whole team's, intertwined, got in a little tussle. But I would have liked to see some legitimate fisticuffs at that point. You peel guys away from the pile, drop the mitts, and just start throwing hammers. I want to see a real response in a situation like that. And I'll take the response we got. I mean, we're light years ahead of where we were last year. Last year, I don't even know what the team would have done. Probably nothing. They probably just watched Nico laying on the ice after Tkachuk crushed him. But definitely an improvement. Heavier, edgier, more violent. We see the response there. And somehow the Devils end up on a power play after all that. I'm not going to lie. I think the Panthers got screwed there. Listen, I try to be as fair as possible, and I'm sure sometimes my Devils bias comes in with certain topics. But on stuff like this, I try to be unbiased. And in a scenario like that, given everything that happened, I, as a hockey fan, I would have just liked it to be, the penalties, whatever you want to call, all the penalties offset, and neither team is shorthanded. Matthew Tkachuk gets a roughing for roughing with Siegenthaler, an interference for the hit on Nico, and Jonas Siegenthaler gets a roughing. Somehow Nico Hischier gets nothing. I mean, if we're being honest, right, he's got to get something. I mean, you'd think he's got to get something there. Again, the officiating has been very anti-Devils in my opinion, especially in the last few weeks. We've had tons of things. I'm not going to go through and list them all. You all know if you've been following the Devils. But I think we got a gift there. I really do. A rare break from the officials. There's no way that the Devils should have been on a power play, in my honest opinion, in that scenario. Now, I will gladly take it, and I was happy that it happened. But I think that was a gift, and unfortunately, the Devils failed to capitalize on said gift from the officials. And it came back to bite us. Again, some more chances each way down the stretch of the third. Nobody could score. We get to overtime. We see some chances each way. Jack is behind the net with the puck, and I think Bennett was about to come crunch him, and he heard the steps. He saw Bennett coming at the last minute. I think he did get a little scared about the hit coming, and he fired the puck right up the middle, giving it away to the Panthers, and they have a grade A scoring chance off of that rushed pass by Jack, and luckily they missed the net. We got bailed out there, and Jack got bailed out there. Huge mistake in the overtime session. Got to clean that up. Can't be throwing pucks up the middle and giving the other team grade A scoring chances on a silver platter. Luckily, they didn't do anything with it. Devils couldn't score in the overtime. And for the first time in the 24-25 season, a little over 3 months into the season, your New Jersey Devils are headed to the shootout for the first time. And it's funny, I've been waiting for one of these for a while. I've been texting with a lot of my buddies, and I was like, are we just going to win or lose in overtime every single game and never get to the shootout? It seemed like it was inevitable at some point. And tonight we saw our first one, and as soon as the overtime ended, the hot topic amongst my couple Devils text groups there was, who are your 3 shooters that you would send out? And I pretty quickly wrote that my 3 shooters, in no particular order, I'm not saying this is the order of just the 3 guys I would send out. And for me, my lineup would have been Paul Cotter, Jesper Bratt, Timo Meier. That would have been my 3 with the lineup from last night, and I think Nico probably would have been my 4th. What we saw was close. I got 2 out of 3 that Keefe used, but instead of using Timo Meier, Jackhughes as the 3rd, we get to the shootout. Paul Cotter opens it up with just an absolutely beautiful move, coming in, doing the little triple deke, pulls it in tight, gets it on his forehand, gets it right past Knight. What a finish by Cotter. I mean, I absolutely love this guy. We all know he's got silky, silky hands, and he could finish. He's got moves, and he could finish, and he delivered in his very first shootout attempt as a New Jersey Devil, buries it, gives the Devils the 1-0 lead in the shootout, followed up by Barkov for the Panthers. He comes in nice and slow, freezes Markey and beats him low stick side. Shootout now tied 1-1 through the first frame. We get to the second frame. Jesper Bratt comes in and tries a little backhand over the glove and just sails it high over the net. I liked the thought process there, and I think he had him beat if he could have hit the net with the shot. It was a nice move, but unfortunately misfired. And Reinhart on deck for the Panthers, and Reinhart is stopped by Markey. We are still at 1-1 through 2 frames in the shootout. We get to the 3rd. Jack Hughes comes in. Bad shot by Jack. Bad shot by Jack. I mean, what are you going to do? It's been a while since he's taken a legitimate shootout attempt. But could have got a better one there. And then Lundell's up for the Panthers with the game on his stick. He freezes Markey and scores. Game over. Shootout ends in a 2-1 victory for the Florida Panthers. An absolutely painful one. It sucks not to get the 2 points. It sucks not to win. But the team, I thought, played pretty well, all things considered. Like I said, it was a playoff battle. Getting 5 out of 6 points from the Panthers over the 3 games is a massive success. It just doesn't feel as good, obviously, given the climate of where the team is right now, coming off of that rough patch. And it sucks. It really hurts. It's, it is what it is. We go to the game stats. Panthers, 28 shots on goal. Devils, 27. Faceoffs, 54.4% for the Panthers. 45.6% for the Devils. Panthers 0 for 1 on the power play. Devils 0 for 2. I mean, again, if we could have squeaked one out on the power play, that could have been the difference between a win and a loss. I'm not going to kill them. 2 chances. It's not like we went 0 for 4 or 0 for 5. I mean, that would be painful. But, again, 2 chances. All you got to do is capitalize on one of those. And this could have been a regulation win. But 42 hits for the Panthers, 30 for the Devils, 14 block shots for the Panthers, 19 for the Devils, 14 giveaways for the Panthers, 11 giveaways for the Devils, 2 takeaways for the Panthers, and 7 takeaways for your New Jersey Devils. And this one stings. It's going to sting. Again, another great performance by Jacob Markstrom. What more can you say? He made some insane saves, including, I forgot to mention this, a breakaway save on the Devils' power play. They gave up a shorthanded breakaway against, and Markey was there. He had a bunch of other great saves in this one. And well, what more can I say about Jacob Markstrom, guys? I've been talking about him nearly after every game now for, it seems like, the past couple weeks or maybe even a month plus. The guy is just giving us a solid chance to win every single night, coming up with crazy saves, bailing the team out when there's breakdowns in the defense, and he deserved a win tonight. And it's unfortunate that the Devils have been struggling to score as of late, and some of these amazing starts by Markstrom are going to waste. Now, I will gladly take the loser point as the silver lining. Obviously, 1 point is better than none, and like I said, 5 out of 6 against the Panthers is a huge win overall. But given the team's recent slide, it would have been really nice to complete this win, and especially for Markstrom. But he played great. Overall, the team obviously has to work on some things. A lot of people, the doomsdayers, were out in the post-game live. Shout out to those of you that, come with coherent thoughts and don't run to the ledge after every loss. But it is a little frustrating to lose a game like this. And with the lack of scoring we've seen as of late, a lot of people are calling for Fitzy to make some sort of move. Now, I do think he will at some point closer to the deadline to see what's truly out there and really feel what he thinks the team needs. But obviously it starts with the bottom six scoring. Goals for this team across the board have been few and far between as of late, and they've been really few and far between for the bottom six. Would love to see a couple tweaks there to try to get some more depth scoring. And obviously, again, the big dogs got to be the big dogs. If you're constantly looking to the bottom six as the reasons for some of these losses, that's sort of an indictment on the top six as well. They got to pull their weight, and they're the guys that get paid the big bucks. They got to put the puck in the net. And the Devils have been in a little bit of a goal-scoring drought, and it coincides with their overall record as of late. And they got a big one Thursday. They have an absolutely massive one Thursday, returning to Toronto. Got to win this one for the General, man. You got to win this one for Sheldon Keefe. Obviously, the Devils are 0-2 on the season against the Maple Leafs. They came to the Rock twice, beat the Devils, and now the Devils are in the same role the Panthers were in last night. Exact same role. Heading into the other team's barn, looking to avoid a season series sweep. We're in the same role. Panthers, we beat them twice on their home ice. They came to our arena, and they're like, we're not getting swept. Likewise for the Devils, Maple Leafs came to our barn, beat us twice, and now we're going to their arena and have to win the final third game of the season series. Cannot get swept. It's a huge one, especially for Keefe. Obviously, he wants to beat the Maple Leafs no matter where we play them, but this is our last chance on the season, or at least the regular season. I mean, beating them in the playoffs, what a plot line that would be for Sheldon Keefe, especially if it was in the Eastern Conference Finals. Oh, my God. What a story. But anyway, I can't let my mind go to these places. Got to do it for the General. It's a big one. Our last chance to beat them in the regular season. It's in Toronto. It's going to be a media circus, I'm sure. There's going to be tons of reporters, tons of cameras. They're all going to be asking, the current Maple Leafs players about Keefe coming back. They're going to be asking Keefe about coming back to Toronto. They probably have some sort of video tribute for him on the board. It's going to be a whole thing. His family still lives in Toronto, so I'm sure Keefe's entire family will be there, probably tons of friends as well. It's going to be a whole thing. Going to be a very emotional trip for Keefe, and it would be amazing for this New Jersey Devils team to give their A game for 60 minutes and put a big W out on the ice there in Toronto. It's a huge one. I'm super jacked for it. Shout out to the few of you that had mentioned you were going. I'm sure you're going to have a great time. Toronto's a great city. Always love, especially going to a hockey game in Toronto. Not too many things quite like it. But, guys, this one stings. It stings. The loser point's a silver lining. I'm tired of talking about silver linings, obviously, with these overtime loser points. And, the 1 point, you got to take it, right? Way better than zero, but it still sucks to constantly being like, yeah, we got the loser point. I don't like the moral victories. I just need this team to start winning and winning consistently. I think we'll see it soon. And, again, Jacob Markstrom, a huge part of it. This guy's he's at a high level right now. And if he continues it for the rest of the season, I have super high hopes. But let me know what you thought about the game in the comments. Let me know what you thought about anything I said in this video in the comments. Anything, everything Devils hockey, throw it out there in the comments. I enjoy talking to all of you. I got a lot of special projects in the works, guys. A lot of special projects for the channel in the works. But if you haven't checked it out, poke around on the channel. Check out some of the videos I put out in the past couple weeks. We have a really good interview with Jamie Langenbrunner, former Devils legend. It was a thrill for me to sit down with Jamie and get to talk to him about some of the old days. I'll put a link in the description for that. That's on the channel. I have a little expectations and prediction video for the rest of the month of January. So check that out. And then I also did a little video about the hypothetical possibility of the New Jersey Devils having a reunion with Taylor Hall. It seems to be a very hot button topic amongst Devils fans and I guess some hockey sites and blogs and whatever you want to call it. And so a lot of people are asking me about it, and I was like, let me take a couple minutes to sit down and really analyze this and make a video. So what do I think about potentially getting Taylor Hall? That video is on the channel now as well. And I got tons of stuff coming, guys. Tons of stuff coming. But that's all I got for you now. Got to come back huge on Thursday in Toronto. Win one for the General. And finish out this month of January strong, leading into the Four Nations break. That's it. I'm exhausted. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.